She like the way that I dance. She like the way that I move. She like the way that I rock. She like the way that I woo.
Omar and Hustle, the CBA has been passed. Didn't take long. 500 plus players did not vote, which would have been a huge difference maker. I'm not reading over the entire CBA, but I skimmed through the important parts. Omar, what wins did the players get in the CBA, in your opinion?
Well, they got 1.5 million worth of gain in ownership stake, which will in 10 years equate to about $1.6 billion, which that was good. That was progress. Now they gave up a 17th game for that. The cheap players or the minimum players or the lower end players, no matter what you want to call them, they gained $100,000 in salary, and in basically 9 years, the minimum salary is going to go from about $500,000 to $1 million. That's a good starting point. They get better benefits, more money in terms of being put into their health care. They get tuition reimbursement. Practice squad players get raises. They get more rights. They get 401k. So the NFL owners basically created a great scheme and hustle and con to benefit the lower end players, which I think is who I wanted the new CBA to go towards and help, because there's a huge divide between the haves and the have-nots in the NFL. I believe it's like 170 something players make more than $4.25 million in the NFL, and it's literally a league that has
1,700,
2,500. Yeah, and that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't equate to me. But
it makes perfect sense to me. But go ahead.
How does it make perfect sense to you? Like,
because the NFL is a horrible league. That's why. They're using these bodies as crash dummies, and they're not actually compensating them very much. People see, oh, well, he made $250,000. I wish I could make that. Yeah, but they only out the league in 3 years, and they have to live off that the rest of their fucking life, and they have no other thing that they can do.
Hey,
most of them.
When they get 65, they get a hell of a lot of money. If they can make it 65, that's what the NFL wants you to think. And
I don't know. Go back to what Miko said from the beginning. You shouldn't get props for something you're supposed to be doing. And all the shit that you just named, shit that they're supposed to be doing. So nothing about this CBA agreement is like, oh, wow, this is awesome. Ain't shit you can point to about that fucking agreement and say it's awesome for players. Because everything that they gave them, they took something away. Every fucking thing they gave them, they took something away and made them do an extra fucking game. And ain't shit about that shit makes sense. Man, in a fucking negotiation, you supposed to negotiate. It's supposed to take some time. Ain't no motherfucking agreement supposed to be done this fast.
They've been negotiating it for over a year. That was one of the things
that's not fast enough. There ain't shit fast enough about a negotiation that's going to be for 10 years. They're going to try to tell you a year to make a negotiation that quick for a fucking 10-year agreement and say, well, you got to look at the bright side. You can amend some shit if you want to. If I fuck some amending shit, if I got amended, I need to ask for it right now. That shit dumb as fuck.
The one thing that I will say, and I talked to DeMaurice Smith, me and him had a little disagreement, tussle, the reasoning for the 10-year agreement. And I do understand his reasoning. The economics of the world, and he said this before we had this corona shit. He's like, basically, we're protecting our share and our rights for a decade, because you never know what the economics of the world will bring. You look at the coronavirus situation right now.
That sounds like something a pussy would say.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're correct, but let me point this out. One, the landscape of how people watch television is drastically changing, and it's changing from year to year. And the NFL owners needed this deal to get done now so they could lock in a new TV deal. And they needed things to bring to the table to get more money from these new TV deals, because literally the only thing people are actually watching live on television is sporting events. And they needed the inventory, and they needed a 10-year agreement just so that it could survive the landscape of how people are watching things, or to take advantage of that. And then look at the coronavirus situation. People are losing money, not even just the wealthy people. Your 401k, if you take a good look at it, that thing took a big dip in the last week before they closed the stock market. So, and if you think, my wife looked at her 401k yesterday, and she said she lost $500 in like a span of 3 days. And yeah, that's not that much money to us, but think about what a billionaire has lost.
I don't give a fuck what no billionaire lose. I don't give a fuck.
Think about what
you saying, but all those things you saying has nothing to do with the negotiation of your future. Your future depends on you as a product. You are the product. You, the player, is the product. So
you're your own business. You're your own business.
So if something happens with the world, I'm saying that if something happens in the world within that 10 years, it happens. Whatever affects us, it affects us. That's fine. That has nothing to do with what we should get now as far as their health benefits, as far as how many years they need to play before they're eligible for a certain type of retirement shit. None of that has anything to do with them getting their first guaranteed contract being different. None of that has nothing to do with them trying to negotiate anything. They gave a 17th game is a drastic change. That's a fucking drastic change to the game.
And there's 2 more playoff games. There's only one team.
Yeah, that's a drastic. So you telling me? So what are you getting drastic as a player that's making you say, you know what? Let's do this shit because we getting this. That's what I'm at. That's what I'm.
Not nothing but $1.6 billion over a span of 10 years. 1.6.
That's after they already lost $1 billion from the last CBA that
Yes, come on, man.
You're right.
He already set them up for some bullshit anyway. So now it looks like a win when technically this is just getting back from the 2010.
To where you kind of was, yes. But
thank you.
The what is it? The salary cap. Not that and you're getting a 90%. Teams have to spend the 90% instead of 85%. So that's more money.
So you got to make a billionaire spend a little bit more of his money.
You're correct.
You got to drop 7 pennies more into the bucket.
Here's the thing about the NFL, and I realize this because I've now covered the league for 11 years, and I this is now my second CBA deal that I'm dealing with and I'm learning from. Players are not in the league. Players are dumb till they hit about their 3rd year. They don't know what the fuck is going on. They can't understand nothing. They don't know the business end of the league.
And why is that? Why is that, Omar? Because they don't they have a symposium, a rookie symposium? They're intentionally making sure that these players don't know what the fuck is going on and what's important. That they can be blinded until there's a contract year. That's when it happens. After that rookie contract, that's when you find out shit ain't sweet. In the NFL, shit gets real. You start realizing what the fuck is going on.
Because for the first 3 years, they think they're making money because they was playing for free in college. So the system is set up to take advantage of these players. Think about it. You're not smart enough until you're in the 3rd year. By the time you're in your 3rd year, half of them are gone already. 40% left behind. Left behind, and of that 40%, only 20% of those people going to actually get money. So. Yeah, the system, and then you just cycling in a new batch of dumb players, and then the older players are just barely trying to hang on. So the system is set up to exploit them and take advantage of them. But it's been that way since college. Go
ahead, Hustle.
I was going to say, if that's the case, if y'all feel that way, what changes? Because in my mind, if we have an agreement and we sign a 10-year pact, I'm going to look at that and be like, oh, hell no, some shit got to change. What are the player NFLPA doing or whoever they're doing to make changes? Because I see they changing to presidents, they making those type of changes. So I don't know. Go ahead, Miko.
Let's get to it. So just so my listeners can know, I don't know if you guys know this, here's how the NFLPA is set up. There's a president, and then there's a treasurer, and then there's 9 vice presidents. And then there's also an executive officer, and I believe that's who DeMaurice Smith is. So you have these 11 NFL current or ex people who are in the office, and then you have DeMaurice Smith. Okay, they are the ones that make all the decisions, but you also have player representatives, and that can range from 1 to 4 people on each team, depending on, however many are voted in. And so those people vote for whoever is in office and who's making the decisions. Now, every 5 years, I think, that you can change who DeMaurice Smith is, okay? And how you change that before was everybody in the league got to vote, and it was a 2/3 majority vote on whether that person stays. Now that DeMaurice Smith is getting hella competition from a guy who I think should be their president, who should be their executive officer, Cyrus Mary, I think that's how you pronounce his name. They have a new voting system now where they have 14 people, NFL players, ex and current players, who privately vote on this, who can be DeMaurice Smith. And they've just changed that. So now if he gets 7 to 13 votes of him staying, then they will allow him to compete with whoever might be the top other vote getter, a person that wants to run. If they get a majority, meaning all 14 vote for him, nobody else even has a chance to even try him for his position. They just changed those rules. There was no vote. They didn't do it the right way. They just basically said, fuck it, we're going to create a monopoly over our own system, and we're going to decide that DeMaurice Smith is going to be the NFLPA executive officer. We don't want anybody else. And that was the biggest mistake that they have done so far in the CBA negotiations. They should have allowed competition to come in, because DeMaurice Smith is a corporate lawyer, okay? He fights for the corporation. He don't know shit about the little man. He don't know nothing about the working class citizen. He fights for the 1%ers, and that's why he's so famous. That's why he's so popular. Cyrus is a man of the people. Cyrus is the creator of the Rooney Rule. Omar, what's the Rooney Rule?
Rooney Rule is where you have to force to interview a minority candidate for head coaching position and for a front office position, top executive position. But
okay.
Yeah,
he created that with Johnny Cochran. Okay. He also created. Let me give you a list. He also created something called the Fritz Pollard Alliance, yes, Women on Wall Street, and Working Ideal. These are all things that are like pro-black, pro-poor, pro-little man. Like all of his accolades, he has his own law firm that he shares with a guy named Steven Skelet. But he is the founder of this law firm. I'm gonna read this off. He specializes in discrimination, civil and consumer rights violations, and corporate fraud. He is most notable for the following cases: Robert versus Texaco, Ingram versus Coca-Cola, Robinson versus Ford, August versus Morgan Stanley. Like, he fights big time billionaires for a living and gets shit done. And the NFLPA doesn't want him. What the fuck is going on?
And my dogs in this bitch, I know they gon' shoot shit up. And my little brother turned to a drummer, walking my side, now he got the lumber. I said that Maybach where the J's at, tell my brothers ball 100 summers. All my niggas know, run up them numbers.